is Ivan from the Reforma IE Zine Fest at the Cheech that just happened. And I was out of town. I missed it, but I wish I would have been there. And so I'm excited you're here to tell us all about how it went. Take it away.
Yeah. Yeah, we missed you. It was crazy. It was a crazy little fest. I think it was the first time that we were able to reach out to all of the Inland Empire libraries specifically. I think that's what set it aside from a lot of the other IE Zine Fest kind of attempts or ones that have happened in the past. Um, we had a live band from the local area, Chicano Mosh. Shout out to them. They were amazing. We also had some guest speakers from local libraries, and one of them was actually from the IE Zine and, well, Print and Zine Fest that happened not too long before. Shout out to Ziba for getting us in contact with Frankie. So that was really cool. We also had the Cheech was the main location, which is in downtown Riverside, which is a great location considering the missions and vision of Reforma IE. And if you're not familiar, very much about celebrating, empowering, and supporting Spanish speaking communities, and very specifically towards the Chicano culture and the Latina culture. And the Cheech is a museum dedicated to all of those cultures, which was a perfect marriage of, I guess, kind of ideas and thoughts and just kind of vibe overall. We also had, I want to shout out everyone that I can remember. We also had a local radio station come by from Riverside through KCal Rock. I think they're like a substation. So it might be KCRW was the actual station that came by. Yeah, I mean, I'm really open to questions about it, but to just kind of go over it, the agenda, what we did was first hour was dedicated to a local zine display, which libraries kind of came out to do outreach. And by outreach, I mean they came to table and kind of display all the local zines that they've collected. So part of this program was also that if you wanted to have zines displayed at the Cheech, you would have to go to a local library workshop, create the zine there, give it to a local librarian, and then they would come to the Cheech and display your work there. And then you could decide whether to give it away or have it come back to you. But all in all, it was a great turnout in terms of that. After that, we had presentations. After that, we had Chicano Mosh. And throughout the day, we had a whole class dedicated to making zines at the Cheech, which was their first time doing it. So I was like, oh, wow, we're actually introducing the art form and the the general genre of zines to a museum. Yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. Is there something you wanted me to go into more, Ziba?
What libraries participated?
Sure. So we had, let's see, ultimately we had five tabling libraries, but I think it was close to 10 overall libraries. So five of them couldn't show, five of them did. They were from San Bernardino County, San Bernardino City. Um, we had Riverside County, we had Riverside City, we had Ontario, we had UCR, and I believe those were the participating libraries. And when I say Riverside County and San Bernardino County, it's more like they within the county systems have like Riverside County alone has 30 plus libraries. So that means in reality, participating libraries for Riverside County were five or six, and tabling for them were like one table. So same thing with county of San Bernardino County. Um, yeah, if I could pull up my list, I would share you exactly who tabled. One second. But in the meantime, were there any other questions you wanted me to go over?
Did you happen to have like a head count of how many people came for the Zine Fest overall?
Um, Not an exact head count, but from we had an information table there for Reforma IE, so we had some members kind of pointing people in the way of what they do, what the Zine Fest was about, kind of where to go for what. And they counted about 316 people that just came to their table. So in reality, what we think happened was probably double, triple that, really, because not everyone goes to information tables, right? People just like to browse and linger. So really, it was a lot. It was one of the hottest days as well, and it was free admission at the Cheech that day. So we also just got a lot of influx of people that were just there for the Cheech and then ended up staying for the Zine Fest. So yeah, I probably counted, I want to say in the 900s, close to 1,000 really, just throughout the day. And this was from 1 to 4 p.m. Overall, it was great. It was amazing. We had more people than we expected. So that's always a good problem to have, at least in my opinion. Yeah.
Did the museum staff have any feedback or plans for next year repeating?
I've reached out to them to kind of thank them for the work that they did, right? Nothing so far. I wouldn't be surprised if they are down to do it again, but it still might be a little too fresh because it was such a new thing to them of having a Zine Fest. And at the scale that we did it at, it was a lot smaller in scale than what I think the Cheech could have had. So if we were to do it another year, it would definitely be an expansion of what it was. And we only really had about a little under a month to plan the whole thing. Like we had a general draft idea that we went over with the Cheech, and they kind of like helped in terms of building that plan out. But if we were to do it next year, I think now we have a better scope of what the Zine Fest can be. But hopefully they do want to do it again. I I hope we left a good impression. They liked the band. They asked about the band. So maybe at least if we don't get another Zine Fest going, at least we were able to give that band a lot more exposure than they would have originally in that area.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. And we have a question in the chat from John Dishwasher. What gave you the idea to have a library-centric zine fest? Was that your original intention or did it evolve into that?
So the way it became library centric is so we generally have a lot of Reforma Inland Empire meetings, right? And if you're not familiar with Reforma Inland Empire, it's pretty much made up of library workers, either people who are Spanish speaking or people who want to support Spanish speaking communities. And with that, the kind of question came up a lot where it's like, oh, are you guys doing zines? Have you guys heard of zines? Either through people like Ziba or through people like Sandy at UCR. Um, so that question kind of came up a lot. And because we do work in libraries so often, zines are kind of just go so well hand in hand with libraries in general, especially public libraries. So at some point, it kind of became like, well, who do I know? What's my circle of influence? Who can I get? And because the Cheech was also one of their things is you can't have any sales on the property. So then it became a question of like, well, if we can't invite vendors, local vendors, like how do we make up for that? And then it just kind of became like a simple, like, well, let's just have the libraries there. Let's just have the communities in, right? And that's a good way to invite, I think, a lot of the widespread community that is Inland Empire because we are Riverside County and San Bernardino County, and that is extremely widespread. So the Zine Fest, outside of it just being a Zine Fest, I think it was also a chance for us to get in contact with all of the Inland Empire libraries and kind of become less divided and try to become a regional force. Because I think there are a lot of areas, right? Like LA County is well integrated into itself. So we kind of wanted to have a similar feel where it's like, oh, I know blah, blah, blah at blah, blah, blah library. Maybe we can do an event later. So the IE Zine Fest kind of became not only a Zine Fest, but so much more than that, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if I answered your question. I hope I did.
It's like a zine club in person for libraries in the area. And you got to partner with Frankie. Is that a partnership like the Reforma IE Zine Festival table at IE Print and Zine Fest? Is that what it's called? Or
Yeah, the IE Print and Zine Fest. I think that's kind of up to Frankie at this point. I am planning on reaching out to him later or moving forward. Zine Fest kind of happened as a transition is also happening within our own organization. Because I'm becoming the immediate past president, like literally the day after Zine Fest, I was already immediate past president. But that kind of leaves more time for me to reach out to people like Frankie to try and facilitate more of that. Yeah.
John was mentioning earlier that Whittier Public Library is having a Zine Fest coming up. I think it's their second one. So it's so awesome to see Zine Fest and libraries all over the nation and all over California and in San Bernardino County, Riverside County, LA County, just everywhere. Like it's such a common thing now as opposed to a little over 10 years ago when I first went to OC Zine Fest in 2014 and tried to get zines circulating at OC public libraries, and they said no at the time. So that brings me to my question now. Do any of the 10 libraries you worked with for this, do you know if they circulate zines at their library?
I think some are in the midst of trying to get circulation going. The funny thing I found about talking with a lot of these libraries and either the directors or the librarians, whoever it ended up being with, I think a lot of them, it was kind of like foreign, the idea of a zine program, specifically the programming aspect, right? It was very much like, how do I even do a zine, right? So even if the concept of a zine wasn't foreign, the how do I implement that into this community? And is this something, a lot of questions came up of whether this is something the community keeps, is this something the library keeps? And it kind of feeds into Sandy's presentation that she gave at the Zine Fest, where she was talking very much about the ethics and kind of like, what do we do with local zines, right? We need to ask permission to hold these zines in our libraries, right? Not everyone wants to share their zines. Some people make copies. Can we make copies of the zines to give away? And a lot of those questions kind of came up during that. So I feel like with this, it really did kind of lay a foundation for a lot of libraries to kind of like, oh, this is a taste of what a zine program can be and how involved your community can be and who exactly you want showcasing um, community voices generally. But yeah, as far as circulation goes, I'd have to do follow-ups with everyone to see if they're deciding to keep some of the zines that were made throughout the Zine Fest program. But I hope they do. I'm going to try to, at least here at Calamasa Library, if anyone wants to come to visit.
Oh, I'll come visit. Yeah, I would love that to see that happening in more libraries. And speaking of libraries and zines all over the world, there's a new online conference coming up later this year. It's free. It's Saturday, November 8th and Sunday, November 9th. It's the Zine Library Unconference. I've been to four in the past. I went to one last year at NYU and the year before at San Francisco University. And then hosted one at Long Beach Public Library in 2017 and then attended one in Minneapolis 2018. So I've been to four in person and one online during COVID. They had the International Zine Librarians Unconference online, and there's zine libraries literally all over the world. We got to see from Hong Kong, Thailand, Greece. They were showing us their zines like virtually in the libraries. So it's so cool that we can do this coming up. I hope everyone's available. Let your network know, everyone, all the 10 libraries that were there to join this if they can. And right now there's a call for proposals. So anyone that wants to present virtually at this can fill out the Google form. I just posted this today. I'm on the organizing committee So we had a meeting today and we're looking for people to present. So there's a call and there's a Google form here if you want to tell your colleagues. And then I will see everyone online November 8th and 9th. And we all learn from each other. That's how I learned about how to circulate zines at Long Beach Public Library 10 years ago at my first circulating branch in 2015 with zines. So I'm glad everyone here is on the call, and November is a while away, so we can all be at this online zine conference in November.
Cool. Just very quickly, I wanted to shout out the actual libraries by name really quick. Norco Library, Ribideau, Eastvale, Wildomar, Highgrove libraries from Riverside County participated. Riverside City Main Library participated. Moreno Valley Library participated. San Bernardino City Libraries participated. Marietta participated. UCR, Ontario, and El Cerrito libraries all participated. Just to put those names out there for people who might be interested in visiting those libraries. If you're near them, ask for more zine programs.
That's so cool. Which programs has your library hosted recently, like zine related programs?
From mine personally, we've been actually in the process of moving locations, so my library's actually been closed for the past 2 months. But that didn't stop staff from making zines for the Zine Fest. So I will claim that. I'll claim a staff zine program occurred with a total of 5 people.
Oh, awesome. We had our kickoff to summer reading here with Razor Cake Magazine editor that did a fanzine workshop for us in the community room. And when I made the announcement over the speakers, we had a library user in the reading room that was already making their own zine and didn't know that there was going to be a zine making program at the same time. And so they came in and they said, "Did I hear zines? I'm making my zine right now." So then they came in to make their zine with us in the community room. So it was perfect. And was excited to spread the zine knowledge. And Steve in the chat, we had present about zines in the past and donated some zines to my previous library, Palisades Library, which did burn down, but luckily I took with me any zines that were not cataloged at the time when I left October of last year. And so, Steve, I believe I have your zines with me here at Van Nuys. So come to Van Nuys Public Library, and your zines are in the process. Anything I took with me, it's still in the process of being cataloged. So I only left the catalog zines at Palisades, which burned down. And luckily, we were so slow at cataloging that we still had your zines, Steve, with us here at Van Nuys. So, oh, nice. I'm gonna look for that in the mail. And I know John has a calendar of zine events that happens all over California, all the different zine events. And there was just a cat zine fest in Long Beach, apparently. But now I'm wondering, I know there is a list somewhere of all the zine libraries. I don't know who has that list. But if we had a list of all the zine libraries, then Steve, if Steve wanted to, could email or mail the zine to all the zine libraries.
Oh, that's cool, John.
And I see Tan clubs here. And anyone that has any questions or wants to share anything, feel free to jump on the mic or put it in the chat. And there's an event happening at Fullerton College, which is a printmaking and zine fest. Oh, nice. So Orange County. Yeah, there's so many events going on. I'm glad that it could be at the Cheech and that you could enlighten them on zines at the Cheech. And I saw that Cheech recently got awarded like Cheech Day and was acknowledged. So that's so cool.
Yeah. I think my favorite part was just being able to break down that institutional wall than I think a lot of people see with places like museums. And yeah, it just felt very like this would be the place to do something like that. And thankfully, they were very open to doing it. And I was just like, oh, wow, you guys are at for free? You're letting us do it for free?
That's how Long Beach Zine Fest started, was at the Museum of Latin American Art. And so we were able to do it for there for free back in 2015. Yeah, 10 years ago.
Nice.
Oh, yes, go ahead, Tanya.
Hey, actually was able to make it to the Zine Fest this weekend and I met Ivan really quick and yeah, it was just like it was very different from like what you would think or like the current Zine Fests are like especially like in Orange County and LA. But it was really interesting and it was cool to see other libraries that carry zines. Um, I really like UCR had like a lot of like reprints of scenes from the 60s. So that was like really cool just to see it. It would have been nice to see like had like a reading room or something. I know you probably didn't have like the space to do
Yeah.
it, but that would have been like cool to have somewhere where people can like sit and like just kind of browse either like submissions or but overall, it was like really good event, and the vibes were really nice, and a lot of people showed up. It was really cool, and I've never been to the Cheech, so it was also like a good opportunity to kind of do two different things at the same time. But yeah, it was just really really cool, and yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, it was nice seeing you there too. Just seeing people come out to support was really nice in general. But yeah, yeah, definitely if we were to do it again, we would probably expand and use more of the space in ways that I think are a bit more intuitive to Zine Fest. But because it was like a first time for everyone involved, it was like, how do we do this in such a short amount of time too? So very happy with the result.
Yeah, no, I didn't know it was planned under such a short period of
Yes.
time. So it's like impressive that, you know, it all worked out and it came out really well and people showed up, that you were able to put the word out there too. And it also happened to be this day that is free at the museum. So it's just, yeah, like you said, the intersection of a space like the Cheech that's a little, yeah, elevated, if you want to say that, versus like people coming in with their own art and like being part of that as well.
Where did the band play?
Oh, well, okay. So that's like a wild story behind that. So it ended up being one of the hottest days, unexpectedly, right? Because we couldn't predict the weather. So things got into like the 90s. Originally, they were supposed to play, and this is like where a lot of the logistics of working with a place like the Cheech kind of comes into play. They were originally intended to play on what is considered Cheech property, right? But they ended up playing on what is actually considered city property. So there was an added layer of tension throughout their set because at any time we could have been shut down by the city because we did not have anything permitted for them to play where they were. But it was the only place we could get shade and enough space to have people not knock over art pieces in the museum, right? There's also the danger of sound in general in a museum where it's like some pieces might be a little bit older, so we can't have amplified music that loud in a museum space. So we had to go outside in front of the Cheech where all the trees were. The only problem was that the trees were like, I don't know, like 20 feet away from the actual entrance. So like if anyone was there, if you were there like watching the set, you could probably see me and some of my Reforma IE people just kind of like, all right, this is good, this is fun. Just look out for city people. If you see city people, talk to them, make sure we nip it in the bud and just try and like make sure that the band can play out their full set. Um, Also putting it out there, they were paid. This was not free. I'm totally pushing that people pay performers and artists, especially if they're local. Like, yes, they also did a cool secret, not so secret merch sale in the parking lot that we didn't say anything about, and hopefully no one continues to say anything about. But I'm hoping they got their money's worth. So yeah, very interesting on the band part of things, and hopefully they get invited back.
That's so cool. I love hearing it, and I'm excited to check them out online and see what they sound like. And for Tanya, I know you work at a library. Do they have zines at your library?
Not right now. We have had workshops for teens, but like a circulation of scenes, not yet. I don't think our supervisor is like super against it. I just don't think anyone has really taken to do it. So hopefully, if I get to be a librarian there, I would love to start a zine like collection. Like obviously, I not obviously, but I know a lot of people that make zines all over. My friends make zines, so I would be able to get a lot of donations. And I mentioned it to my boss, and she like yeah was like not against it. So it's just like no one has really taken the project to themselves, and right now we're under a lot of renovation, so that's just like not a priority for a lot of people. And so, but yeah, hopefully in the future we'll have one. And I definitely want to do more workshops with zines and stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome. Good luck and congratulations on your getting your library degree and hope you're a librarian at your library soon. Good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Steve in the chat agrees with making sure musicians get paid and that the Steve Zine is all about music and does zines for bands. And so that the zines could be on the merch table and they give the zines for them to the bands and pay their bar bill. Nice. So yeah, zines and music go hand in hand and fanzines and zines about music. So that's awesome. Nice. So what's next for everyone? Still summer. And there was the Reforma IE Zine Fest. Oh yes, Yvonne works at a library. Go ahead. Steve has a question.
Yeah, I work at a library. I'm the manager of the County Mesa Library for Riverside County Library System. I've been with Riverside County Library System for a while. So I've kind of jumped from library to library. Started out as a manager in Norco, then Cabazon, now Calimesa. And yeah, just kind of like getting to know the lay of the land. And also worked with Reforma Inland Empire as its former president. And yeah, just involved in a lot of library circles. So good to meet you, Steve. You sound cool. I like that you like to pay bands.
Sorry.
Oh no, go for it.
Yeah, did you have experience with zines and Zine Fest before this event? Like, what was your yeah background in that sense?
Um, as far as Zine Fest go, this is like my first go at trying to organize one, right? There was a big learning curve for it. I even asked Ziva for some advice on it. And as far as like my kind of journey into zines, um, so back when I was way younger, back in like community college days in my early 20s, I think that's the first time I got exposed to the concept of zines. I was very much into art. I was in a band. And like Ziva said, music and zines kind of go really well together. So way back in the day, when I was a part of that music zine, when I was a part of that music scene with a lot of other local bands, we just kind of shared different zines with each other. We'd feature each other to try and promote each other. And then I kind of took a pause from all that, got my degree, came into libraries. And when I was in libraries, things just kept building into zines somehow, and ended up meeting people like Ziba, right? Meeting people like Sandy. And it kind of became hey, Ivan, you're in charge of an organization. Why don't you do something about that? And I was like, oh, yeah, we can do that. We have institutional power in some cases, maybe not to the fullest extent we'd like, but definitely to a point where we can actually speak out and provide spaces for people. So yeah, I'm kind of a newbie when it comes to zines. Like there are people in here, right, that definitely beat me in terms of experience with it. But on the organization side, yeah, that's kind of how it all came about. I hope that answered your question. I feel like I might be rambling, Tanya.
No, that was good. I feel like you don't really need to be like an expert to have experience, or like just like from osmosis of being like in the art scene, you kind of end up reading zines or changing zines or promoting zines. So yeah, that makes sense. I was just curious. Thank you.
Yeah.
John has a question. What was the hardest part of organizing the fest? And also, Steve has a question if you'd like zines donated to your library.
Oh, hell yeah. We would like some donated to us. I would definitely take them in. I'd find a way for them to circulate. What was the hardest part of organizing the fest? Oh, there's so many layers to it. I think the hardest part was just waiting on people, right? Like putting out like a cold call or a feeler to someone, even talking to the Cheech. That was its own little like maze of like, hey, I have this idea, I have this thing. It's possible we'll host it for you. We'll do all the legwork for it, but I just need your permission to do it in your space. What will that take? And at some point it became like, well, we really want to do it at the Cheech Fest. And just like, I will literally pay to rent out the space. Just tell me who I need to talk to for that. And it kind of became like a game of phone tag at first, where it was like, call this person, call this person, call that person, call this person that doesn't know what you're talking about, but they'll be the ones to approve it. So that was its first hurdle, was even getting the permission from the Cheech, and that took months. And then once we got the permission, it was like, okay, well, how do you do it here? We've never done zines here, so can you teach us how to do zines? And it was like, yeah, we can provide you with all of those things. And then after that, it became a matter of trying to get it to become a regional situation, right? With all the libraries involved, that's a lot of people you need to talk to. So the next hurdle was just even knowing who to contact. So I had to ask like a library director, like, hey, you're cool, you know people, can you give me contacts, or can you introduce me to people? And it just became a lot of just losing the ego of like, oh, I don't know everyone, I just need to step out of the comfort zone and just ask for help. And yeah, also knowing that you're not experienced in this thing, and if you want to do it, you need to talk to people that have experienced it. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Also, the hardest part of organizing the fest is not being able to experience it the way others do. That might be the second aspect of it. When you're the organizer of it, it's just so hard to like just experience it as someone who's seeing it for the first time. So that's why I appreciate people like Tanya that are like, hey, I was there and this is what I saw. And I was like, oh, cool. Awesome. I love that. And then Tanya, I see you have a question. What lessons did you take from this experience? What would you do different next time? What lesson did I take from this experience? Overall, kind of reaching out to people sooner than later. And now that we have an in at the Cheech, in terms of we know who to contact, that's going to save us months of trying to figure out who to even contact for it. And the funny part was that the person that I ended up talking to the most was actually a former coworker that I did not know worked at the Cheech. And I was like, oh my God, you're here. Why didn't I just talk to you from the beginning if I knew you had been here the whole time? Um, Other lessons that I took from the experience is that a team is so vital to it. Like, it does not matter how efficient or how good you are at what you do, you will need a team for this kind of experience. What would I do different next time? Probably now that I know what the space is like and what the Cheech has in terms of limitations, and also maybe getting the permit process going for that city part of the property that the Cheech has no say over. That'd be nice. Also, do it at a different time of year when it's not so hot, even though summer is probably the best time for most people to come out. And yeah, I hope those were good answers for you all. Yeah. Oh yes, please send us pics, Tanya, please. I'll leave my email in the chat for anyone that wants to contact me too, just in general.
I don't know if Tanya told you, Tanya's also in Reforma, so we're all a big happy Reforma
Yes.
Zine family.
Yes. Damn, a Reforma Zine Fest would be dope. Just saying. Oh yeah, also don't be afraid to contact people even if you think your idea is ridiculous. Someone won't. You just need one yes.
Sorry, another question. Do you feel like you're married to the idea of doing it at the Cheech?
Oh no, not at
Or
all. In fact, we had like we had like 10 different backup ideas if the Cheech didn't work out. We were just very married to the idea of the Cheech because it had never been done there before, and it felt like such a big, like, if we could get it done there at least one time, then other people can get it done there. And it kind of became less of a like, yeah, we wanted to do our best, but also we wanted to mainly show like it can be done. Like, you can reach out to these institutions, they are willing to partner. But the backup to the Cheech was actually, I might get their name wrong. I believe it's the Inland Civil Rights Institute, which is also in Riverside downtown. That would have been our second choice. And then after that, we probably would have asked Riverside City Main Library to see how they normally go about those things, because they're more accustomed to shutting off whole streets for events. So they would have been very good to contact at the time. But luckily, yeah, the Cheech, our first like choice, is what ended up working out. And then I've heard ideas from people where they've pitched parks, community centers, schools, colleges. Um, so we could have gone with it in so many ways, but not married to it. No.
I bet UC Riverside would want to do one if they haven't done one already.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be nice, especially with their archival department. With the amount of zines they have, I'm like, yes, please do that.
You also host a podcast and you had one about zines. When does that come out for everyone to keep an eye out for?
More than likely late July. Currently still working through editing some of those final episodes. It's going to be a batch release unless something goes horribly wrong, which I doubt. But yes, we will be having a little Reforma IE podcast out. So follow us on Instagram if you haven't already. It's Reforma IE. That's it.
And if you're
Oh yeah, no.
looking for members, I recommend Reforma IE is a great place to go for joining a group to talk about libraries and serving Spanish speaking library users with programs and collections, which includes zines, bilingual zines.
Yes. Plus, we're just cool like that. We're very casual, as in, like it's a little chapter within Reforma National. Very approachable. At least I hope we are, but I think we are. But yes, John, I do agree that the venues are the hardest thing for Zine Fest.
Yeah, I joined LA Zine Fest organizing 3 years ago, and our venue 3 years ago was in Long Beach, where we used to host Long Beach Zine Fest. And then after that, we had a place called Frankie's in downtown LA Arts District. A warehouse is very hot. And then after that, we had it at the Broad.
The Broad was cool. Yeah, I was like, damn, Ziva, y'all got it like that.
They came to us, so that was the easiest year because they knew the venue owner of Frankie's and asked Frankie's, like, oh hey, what about having it here? And then they put us in contact. So when they came to us, we're like, whoa, okay, for free? They didn't, yeah. Then they said we broke a record for the most amount of people at their museum ever since they've been open was at LA Zine Fest. So we helped them break a record, and they definitely want us to come back.
Very cool.
Harbor College, yeah, a lot of different colleges would be cool. Oh yeah, Andrea was a volunteer for LA Zine Fest, so was there that day as well by my turntables. That was cool. Oh, you missed the event, Steve. Next time. Yeah, it was March 1st and 2nd, 2 days outdoors slash indoors because of the rain. It moved to the garage the second day. And people had to reserve like a time ticket entry. So some people were mad they didn't get a free ticket entry in time, or if they showed up late, they couldn't get in because the line was long. So it was definitely too small for the amount of people that wanted to go still. And I saw OC Zine Fest is still looking for a venue. So it is, I guess they used to be at Anaheim Public Library. And then I heard they had issues with finding new organizers to help plan, and there's staff turnover at the library. So they had to not be at the library anymore. And now they're looking for a venue at OC. Or I told them they should do it at Disneyland. It was a joke, but that'd be cool. Disneyland Zine Fest.
Oh, man, you would break records there for sure.
Yeah. For events coming up, we heard there's the Fullerton Print Zine Fest, and then we have John's website. We could see what's coming up. Let's see, March, April, May, June, July. So July 19th, there's the Whittier Public Library Zine Fest, no vendors. Oh, and then there's the Southgate Zine Fiesta. I still haven't been to the Southgate Museum for Zine Fiesta, but that's done by that would be Blanquis, the creative. That'd be really cool to go support that one. And July 19th is the Fulton Printmaking and Zine Fest. See, there's two events on July 19th. It's so popular. Zines are everywhere, even the same day, two different places.
That is cool.
And technically, July 26th also is Comic-Con, and they have zines at Comic-Con. So in a way, that's two different zine events that day. I'll be at Comic-Con, so I'll probably miss that one. That's why I say so. And in August, there's Culver City Zine Fest, Wend Zine Fest. Oh, and then in San Diego, the Compressed Zine Fair, August 23rd. And then a bunch in October. San Diego Zine Fest, Santa Barbara Art Book and Print Fair. I met the organizers of that. They were really cool. Worth a drive up there. I think that would be cool to check out Santa Barbara. And then Creative Spirit. I met the organizers of that as well. Creative Spirit Expo. That's in Koreatown, LA. That'll be cool. And then Acid Free Silver Lake. So lots of stuff going on for the rest of the year and zines. Yeah, the Anaheim Library did one, but they're gonna have to relocate the Zine Fest, so now it'll be somewhere else. They're still looking for a location. And it's 10 till 5, so any last minute questions from anyone?
There was a mosh pit. That was fun with the band. And also scary as an organizer, but fun.
In the heat?
In the
A
heat, in the
hot
heat.
mosh pit.
Those kids, they do not play. But I love it. It's funny because we had a Cheech staff member taking a picture of the band right up at the front, but I guess she didn't realize that the crowd was opening for a reason and just circle. It was just a huge circle around her, and she had to jump out at the right exact time. But it was just hilarious. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is nice.
Was Cheech at the Cheech, or Cheech doesn't go to the Cheech?
Cheech goes to the Cheech, but he does. Man, it's almost like he only goes once a month or maybe every other month because he just recently got interviewed there in June. So when I saw that, I was like, ah, oh, he's not coming to the fest. He already made his one appearance. But there's a beautiful statue of him right outside. If anyone's ever been there, it's really fun.
Oh, nice. I'll try to stop by during California Library Association annual conference, which hopefully I'll make it out to. We did apply to present about zines, but we got rejected, so we will not be presenting about zines. But I am presenting with Tanya, right, in Long Beach at the Reforma National Conference, the National Conference of Reforma in Long Beach in September. We did get accepted to present, but not about, we're presenting about radio, public radio and public libraries.
I will go to it. I'll be there. I'll see you both there.
Oh, good. Thank you. Long Beach, Reforma, radio.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, we got to work on our presentation. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone, I'll give you back your last 5 minutes or so. And thank you for joining us. Our next month, our Zine Club will be on a Monday at 4 in August. I'll post about it if anyone has presenter ideas. I like to bring a presenter so we have a new topic and a new question and answers. We did have some people talk at LA Zine Fest that I was going to invite to be a zine maker presenter. So maybe I'll reach out to them. We'll have some cool stuff. A great talk. Yes, thanks for the insights, Yvonne, and we'll visit. Maybe we'll come to your grand opening.
Yes, if you want to.
It's on the day of all the other events too. I see.
Yeah, I know. I was like, no, no pressure. You guys have the rest of the year next year to come by too. And hopefully by next year we'll have an active zine collection here.
Yeah, Saturday, July 19th at 10 a.m. Cali Mesa Library grand opening. Nice.
Unfortunately, I can't promise any pits, but it'll still be fun.
No live bands?
No live bands that I know of, at least.
Oh no. Okay. Well, thank you everyone and have a good rest of July.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.